Hello everybody and welcome back to the Silicon Nubian YouTube channel where we're all about things tech. Backing up your data is a fundamental activity that everyone should do, but most of us don't. There are many ways to get this done. Two of the more popular ways are to back up using another storage device such as an external hard drive. One of the more convenient ways to get it done is to use a NAS. NAS stands for Network Attached Storage, which in layman's terms is some kind of storage medium, usually hard drives, stored outside of any particular PC and is accessible via your network so that all your computers and mobile devices and any device actually can have access to the storage space as long as they're part of your network. There are two ways you can get a NAS. One is to buy a pre-configured device such as a Synology box or QNAP or one of the other Asus Store, one of the other companies that produce very high quality products. And if you look further back in my videos, you'll see that I do have a video that I posted on the Synology NAS that I use. Another is to roll your own. Build your own NAS box. It's really not that difficult. I ran that for a number of years prior to deciding to purchase a Synology NAS box. And there are a number of quality software out there that can turn any PC or any platform actually into a functional NAS device. Today we're going to take a look at Nas4Free. It's an open source storage network attached storage distribution. This one is based on FreeBSD. But for those Linux users out there, not to worry. The FreeBSD part of it, you'll probably almost never have to dig deeper than what is supplied in the GUI interface. And the FreeBSD part, base I should say, platform, pretty much ensures rock solid stability and maturity of file systems such as ZFS. So we've installed it remotely on a remote device, and you access the configuration and all that via your web browser. So we're going to log in and take a quick poke around the Nas4Free and see if it's worthy of consideration for those wanting to roll their own NAS. So this is the login page. We can see that we're at the home section here. Nas4Free local, we have the version, which is 11.1.0.4, which at the time of this video is the latest one available. Gives us the date. The FreeBSD version is based on FreeBSD 11.1 release P2, and we're running a live CD version. That's my processor there, and everything's running really good. So we see also we have memory usage. We have a lot of other load averages and whatnot. No disk has been configured. Let's go through the process of just poking around and seeing what Nas4Free can give us. So here we're at the home. If we go to system, we have general, and we could see how we can change the username, the protocol that's used. We can go HTTPS or HTTP. The port that's used, I believe by default it's 80. If we're using HTTP, of course, and 443 for HTTPS. We could check the time zone, change that, the host name. This is just post install, so basically what we're seeing here, nothing's been configured as yet. The idea of this video is just to show you how easy it is to get around in the GUI and what options are available. Let's go back to home for a second. When we select any of these, and there's a lot of things to go through. For example, we went to System General. We actually have two sub categories. We can go for General, or we can go to Password. So we can change the password here. Now let's go on to Advanced. Advanced gives us a lot more options. Zero config, bonjour. We have a file manager, disable file manager, firmware check. When you upgrade or upgrades are available for the software itself, in Nas4Free they call it firmware. So these are basically operating system upgrades. Toggle mode, skip view, button location, a lot of other things. As I've said before, Nas4Free can be installed on pretty much any hardware platform that's out there, enabling you to share data via your network. And with a very small configuration and the activation of some services, you can actually share it anywhere in the world you want to be at. And it supports sharing across Windows, Apple, and Unix-like operating systems. There's so much in here, it might be overwhelming. But then again, I wouldn't think that Nas4Free would be something that, or any NAS software, free NAS, what I used, definitely not something that a newbie in computers would want to tangle with, but someone a little bit more seasoned will appreciate what these NAS operating systems have to offer. So let's continue. So a CPU microcode update, and we have a few other things: console, MLTD, power daemon, and that's under advanced. Here we have firmware update. It's a live CD version, so it's not going to allow updating on this platform, but on regular installs, it would actually allow you to update the firmware, aka system software. Backup and restore. And I like these little blurbs, which give you an indication of something that you should be aware of. For example, here it's saying current system password is using default password. You should choose a different password. Encryption is enabled by default, which is great for saving your configurations. Once you have it set up the way you want, you can save it to a configuration file. It will, you can download it anywhere on your network to a computer and have it there, and it is encrypted. So if anybody gets a hold on that, they can't look at all your settings and find out how to get into your NAS or via your network. So let's continue. And here we have restore, where we can actually upload a configuration file or restore the system back to a state we had it before. Then we have factory defaults. Gives you some warnings, tells you what's up, and then you just go yes, and it'll default back to factory. Reboot shutdown, that's self-explanatory, and log out. Let's go on to network. Interface management. We have one interface set up. You can have multiple, and many people who do have devices such like this on their network may have the option or will take advantage of multiple network interface cards, NICs, to do different things. And we have, of course, WLAN if you have a wireless interface as part of the system, VLAN, lag, bridge, and CARP. So we have a lot of different things, and if you want to add, for example, click and then we can add the interface. Of course, none is present, so none's going to be listed, but if you did have a recognized wireless LAN card, for example, it would be listed. If you have multiple, you can select which one you want, give it a description, and give it its own SSID so people can actually log into the NAS via that method. So a lot of flexibility, and that, as we'll see, is the theme throughout this video with respect to this Nas4Free. So we have LAN management as well. Just our basic settings for the NAS box that we've created using this software. And it runs bare metal, by the way. You can't install this on top of an operating system. It will actually take over the computer that you put it on, and that computer will be dedicated as a NAS. Mind you, you can get around that somewhat if you run it in a virtual machine, like I'm doing right here, and you could set that up. But I would recommend the preferred method of running Nas4Free is on a dedicated box, dedicated PC. So we have network settings here. We have hosts. And this is where a little bit of experience in Linux and Unix comes into effect. Here we have host access control, and you know the syntax that you would have to understand how to put in here if you were to get if you want to take advantage of that. You have static routes, and of course we can add them if we want. Proxy, and let's continue. We have the firewall, and you can create firewall rules in here. So this is something that again, as if I can repeat myself, which I will, what the what I've seen so far and what we're going to see is how flexible, and it is very flexible, Nas4Free is. So let's continue. Let's go on to disks. So we have disk management. So we don't have any devices. We can actually add one. Okay, so this would be the hard drive. We can give it a description. Transfer mode. I see some older transfer modes here, but we'll keep it at automatic. Hard drive standby time. You can actually power down the drives after a certain amount of time. We can set that here. Power management. We'll set that here. Acoustic level, if some drives do support it and some do. Smart, activate smart for the device, so that'll monitor the device health status. Extra options for smart and pre-formatted file system. We have a lot of file systems that we could put here, including the ZFS pool storage. This is outside the scope of this video, but ZFS is an extremely lean, mean, and powerful file system, in particular for NAS applications. When you have multiple disks, its level of redundancy is fantastic. Very, very flexible. It is more akin to a software-based RAID, but it's actually in some ways even more flexible than hardware RAID. Might get some comments about what I just said, but if you've ever investigated ZFS, you'll know that it's quite an achievement. Of course, and we have all these other file systems that we can format the drive with: FAT32, NTFS, some of them are exFAT, software RAID, encrypted, UFS, and others. And here we can format the hard drive that we would have selected in here. And here we have smart. This is one of the most, if not the most extensive panel I've seen for smart options. So that's really interesting. I've never seen it that in any software I've used. I've never seen it that extensive. iSCSI initiator, smart again. When we go smart, we even have more subcategories: settings and USB mass storage devices. So it can even support USB mass storage devices attached to the NAS for additional storage. So the flexibility is incredible. Okay, incredible. And we can add devices again, as I've shown before. So here we have software RAID if we have more than one drive configured or set up, and we can use create RAID volumes, select the RAID level, and when we select the RAID level, we have management, we have maintenance, and information on the drives. ZFS, when we have to, of course, create a ZFS pool. And once from that, we can start a lot of configuration options for ZFS. We can see here pool, data sets, the volume, snapshots. ZFS does support snapshots. And we have configuration, a lot of things here. Current, detected, synchronize, a lot of things we can do here. And when I used to use ZFS with FreeNAS, I would have to do a lot of command line work, but here it looks like you'll have to do nothing with respect to that. So let's continue. We have encryption. We can encrypt the disks, and we have mount points we can set. Let's go access. User groups. We can create user settings for who people who we think or who we say can have access to the NAS, and what they can and can't do, and what they can and can't see. So we can see, we can even give them a shell, which shell that they want, bash, whatever. Primary group, we can set it. We can put them as admins, wheel. We have a lot of different settings here. By default, it's set at guest, which in my opinion is the same default. Home directory, you can give them a default home directory or give them a custom home directory in the user portal. Do they have access to the user portal? Also, Active Directory is supported. So there you have it. To use Active Directory, the CIFS SMB service will be enabled as well. The following services will use AD authentication, which is CIFS SMB, SSH, FTP, AFP, and system. Okay, Let's continue. We have LDAP, of course. Pretty much a Swiss Army knife. The performance of the web panels is very good, but yeah, mileage may vary, but it looks pretty good so far. A lot of options, a lot of stuff to go through, but you can get started pretty easily. You can explore these later. So here's the services now. Non-configured CARP devices, switch to VIP backward. A lot of this stuff, even I'm not necessarily familiar with. Here we are. Samba AD, Nas4Free DNS forwarder. Okay. And here are all the individual services. This is if you want it to be an active member of a Windows group or a Windows network, either domain or work group. So we have a lot of choices here, and a lot of choices that might seem a little bit out of reach of the newbies for sure. But that being said, the level of flexibility is very impressive. We can create shares here, give it a name, give it a comment, put the path to the share, make it read-only, browsable. Guests can go in there. If not, enable guest access, whether or not they have it. And you have some options for particular file systems like ZFS, but only if ZFS is used. And a lot of options there. Let's go back. Services. If we go to FTP, 21 being the standard port for FTP, maximum amount of clients, maximum connections per host, maximum login attempts, timeouts, permit root login. Obviously something you don't want to do unless that user is the admin, but even then I wouldn't really. FXP, ident lookups, and now we get into a lot of different options pertaining to FTP itself. So we're going to services. Let's check one more. Here we have UPS. I want to select one here. Web server. Okay. Permissions for the web server. Document root. So web server functionality is also built in. And we see we have a few options with that. We even have a BitTorrent options. A lot there. Here we have virtualization. Now this is something that's interesting. It asks you for the path to the home directory of VirtualBox, and it says VM config and hard drive image will be created under the specified directory. Enable this option to make host, here for allow USB, sorry. Enable this option to make host USB available to clients. Security warning, be careful enabling this option. There's not much help with respect to what this is all about. I would guess that you can run, it will allow you to host VirtualBox machines on the NAS drive. And that's interesting. Something I'd have to look into. Another feather in the cap of Nas4Free with respect to flexibility and capability. Okay, so let's go status. We have system status, which basically takes us back to the home page. We can see what's going on here. Right now we're using very little of anything. We have the list of processes that are running. List of the services that are running. But we see none of them are enabled, which is great out of the box. It's up to you to make it what you want. It doesn't come with a whole bunch of services already running in the background, which may or may not be security risks. So that's good. Interfaces, what's running here. Gigabit Ethernet, this is the IP address, subnet mask, and whatnot. In and out packets, how many packets gone in and out. Disks, we have no disk configured, otherwise this would give us a status of all the disks that are there. And we have monitoring, and graph shows the last 120 seconds in, out, and the CPU load, and this is the LAN data transfer. So we'll move on. We're almost done. We'll go to log. Just shows us the log file with everything that's going in a very nice and easy to read format. Information. And we have a lot here. We can see the disk information, partition information, smart information. This is the networking, recent client. There's even a recent client, sockets. Now, a lot of information here. Ping trace route, we can run that, target, and it'll give us a response, I guess. We have ARP tables, and we have routes. So the tools, we have a file editor and a file manager. So we have a file editor. We can edit text files and whatnot. And here we have a file manager. So we have to, again, log in order to use the file manager. Okay, and here we have a file manager. We can move things around, delete files, delete folders. So if you don't want to do it via the CLI, you can have a basic file manager here that you can use. And of course, we can always enter in commands. And here we have help, form, information, and all the other stuff. So that's a quick look at Nas4Free. My takeaway from this is it seems like it's very capable with tons of features. I don't think any one person or any one organization will use all the features that are there, but it's great to know that Nas4Free has a lot of bases covered. It's definitely, in a way, it could be kind of overkill for the home user, but it's there. It's free. It's open source software, and from all the reports I've heard, it's very capable, good performance, and it's pliable. It can be used both in home environments, small home and office environments, larger office, and even corporations if they wish to get into this for their NAS software needs. So all in all, I think it's a really good project. I like how it's presented. Yes, there is a lot of options in there, but then again, if you're one to go through all those options, you're definitely an advanced user. And I would say Nas4Free, definitely not for the new, brand new user. Maybe they might be better served by a commercial NAS drive like the Synology or QNAP. But that being said, if you really have some equipment lying around, or you have some hard drives and an older PC, and you want to get into backing up your data, which you should, take a look at Nas4Free. Definitely has a lot of options, and from all intents and purposes, from what I've heard, it's very capable. Thanks for watching. Give us a look-see. Check out our other videos. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. Please subscribe and tell others about the channel. As well, we ask you to check out our other forums. On Facebook, we have PC Construction Zone for those who are into building PCs, modifying them, and into general computer hardware. We have Technology and Computer Enthusiasts for general technology and computer news, views, and reviews. And we have our more commercial offering at Silicon Nubian. Take care and see you soon.